Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you a process for creating domain names on machines that are not necessarily using DNS off of domain control. So to do that, first we're going to see the stuff that's already on this server. I'm going to go to Tools, and then I'm going to go to IIS, Internet Information Services. I'm going to hit the list arrow in front of the name of the server that's in charge of our domain. Then I'm going to hit the list arrow in front of the container that holds all the websites. We see here there is a default website on this machine. To see what the website looks like, we can open up Internet Explorer or the browser on the computer. Now I'm going to type in the name of the website that's presently on this computer. You see it's cool.com. Now this is a default web page that is put on a web server as soon as you install Internet Information Services on a domain controller. It just lets you know that this web server is good to go. And all you have to do after that is customize the website or update all of your web files so it'll actually have the website that you want it to have. But you'll notice it answers to cool.com. Well, what we can do either in DNS or in a special file called a host file on a computer, we can type in a totally different domain name, which can actually lead to the same exact site. This is the process we're going to use. Right now, we're going to create a website called, we're going to call it space.com. First, we're going to test to see if space.com even comes up. Notice it doesn't have a space.com. It doesn't know what to do with that domain name. It can't find it at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a space.com, but it's going to link to this same exact website. So just to be sure, I'm going to turn off the browser, turn the browser back on, and I'm going to type in space.com. You know, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. It cannot find a space.com. So let's go ahead and create an entry in a DNS record for space.com. Now, we're not going to actually use DNS. What we're going to do is we are going to use something called a host file. To get to the host file, it's a really long path. Here we go. You need to go inside of Explorer, C drive in the computer, Windows. We're going inside of a directory called System32. Inside of System32, we're looking for a directory called drivers. Inside of the drivers directory, we're looking for another directory called etc. Inside of this directory, we have a very important file called host file. In the event that your computer is using a browser and it's not connected to a DNS system, you can put entries in the host file so the computer can get to that website without having a DNS server connected to it. To do this, we're going to have to open up and edit this file. Now, this file is very important This file is used before DNS is questioned on a computer. So in the event that you're doing this, you should always make a copy of the host file. To do that, I just right click and hit copy. And I paste it to the same location. There's our copy. So if we totally damage the host file, we can always replace it with the copy. Now we're going to start the process of editing the host file, which has resource records in it. To do that, you just right click on the file and you tell it to open with a particular application. The easiest application is actually just to use Notepad. Then hit OK. Here's the entries in the host file. It gives you examples of how a resource record would look. An IP address and a fully qualified domain name. And that's literally how this computer would look to see if it knew how to get to a particular place. We're going to go ahead and add an entry. Now you can actually add it almost any place on this page. You guys notice a bunch of pound signs on here, nor people call them hashtags. Well, essentially, if a statement is after a pound sign, the computer ignores it. If there is a statement on here that is not after a pound sign, it actually does. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in an IP address and then a different domain name. So I'm going to use the same exact IP address that cool.com normally used. You notice there is no pound sign in front of that IP address. Then I'm going to hit the tab key. I'm going to hit it twice just so it lines up. Now I can put in any domain name or any fully qualified domain name I want. I'm going to put in that space.com. Then I'm just going to hit File and Save. As soon as you hit File and Save, that file becomes active immediately. Now understand, only this computer where the file lives would know how to find space.com using this IP address. If there's any other computers on your network, if you type in space.com, it is not going to go to that same place. So all of the computers that you would want to have use that same exact domain name, you would have to make this same exact change on all of their host files. Let's see how well this works now. I'm going to close out all of these windows. I'm going to open up a browser again. Now I'm going to type in space.com. Bingo, bango, boppo. You notice immediately now that even though originally the IIS server responded with cool.com in the browser, now it will also respond to space.com on the same exact place. That's because we put a domain name in the host file, which the computer looks at first before it starts referring to DNS. Well, that's the process for creating host files and updating resource records. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Talk to you later.